Hi, booktubers. I'm Debs. Welcome back to my channel, Raina Read Stuff. I am in the book shack, and it's Sunday, and therefore it's my weekly reading wrap up. Now, I haven't read a huge number of books this week, but one of them is quite chunky. Um, my reading habits are going to change, well, have changed from this week until September when I am looking after my grandson for 2 days a week. He's 9 months old. My daughter is going back to work as a district nurse. Unfortunately, they live 150 miles away, so it's a 3 hour drive down there, 2 days looking after Mason, 2 nights staying at my daughter's house, 3 hour drive home, which means I can get in some audiobooks. I'm not going to talk to you about an audiobook today because it isn't finished, but it's a good way to eat up the journey. So this week I have one, two, three, four books to tell you about. One is from February. This is what I've been finishing up for the last few days of Feb, and the other three are from March. But first, I want to show you this. Now, there's no front cover on it when I blow it upwards, but here, this here, I found on Apple Books. And it says 250 masterpieces you have to read before you die. So I downloaded it thinking it was a list of the 250 masterpieces. Actually, it's the 250 masterpieces in their entirety, which is amazing because it's free. And although I have half of them, well, actually, I don't have half of them. I have a percentage of them, but it's a smaller percentage than half. So, one of the books that I chose to read, and this I think I'm going to put down for the Irish Readathon, was The Canterville Ghost by Oscar Wilde, which was just hilarious. Um, a ghost, one of the Cantervilles, who murdered his wife, wasn't a nice guy. He's haunted the manor house of Canterville for more than 300 years. He's rattled chains, he's scared people, he's made members of staff leave. He is responsible for the stain of blood on the floor in the great hallway. And then the current Lord Canterville decides he's had enough of all this, so he sells the house to an American diplomat. And being an honest sort of chap, he tells the American diplomat all about the Canterville ghost before they sign the agreement to buy the house. And the American diplomat says, don't really care that much. I'll buy it with all its chattels, and that includes the ghost. So the American diplomat and his family move in. Him, his wife, he has an older son, he has a daughter, and then he has younger twin boys. And the Canterville ghost starts his haunting, only to find that the Americans aren't remotely bothered. In fact, they offer to help him. So the American minister offers him some oil for the chains to stop them creaking and groaning so much. His wife thinks the ghost has indigestion, so tries to give him some medicine. And the younger twin boys, mainly they throw things at him. This leads to quite a depressed ghost. Can anyone help him? Can he get back to his proper haunting? Well, who knows? This book's hilarious and brilliant. I love Oscar Wilde. Um, I need to get a complete works because I really enjoy his storytelling. I really enjoy his plays. So yeah, that was a good read this week. Thoroughly enjoyed it. and found it in that book. And these books aren't just what the ones included in this 250 aren't just ones that have gone out of the copyright period. You've got The Kite Runner by Khaled Hosseini in there. Um, what else have we got? Marcus Zuzak. There's obviously, sorry, the neighbours are drilling. I'm hoping you can't hear them. Um, as well as classics in here. It's a magnificent collection, free of charge, that I was just blown away by. Right, the second one wasn't quite so successful. So the second one, thankfully, was also free on Kindle Unlimited. You can see there, it's a nice little box set. As part of March Mystery Madness, I had to read the ninth in a series of books. So this is a series of books called A Razzie Cat Cozy Mystery. I didn't start by reading the first 8. I'm glad I didn't start by reading the first 8. Oh, this is called The Problem at the Picnic. It's by Courtney McFarlin, and it really wasn't for me. I don't read that many cozy mysteries. I think I prefer my mysteries to be very much darker than this. This tells the story of a reporter. She is living with her boyfriend, who is a murder detective, and they live with 3 cats. One is called Razzie. See how much attention I paid to this. I can't remember what the other cats were called. Anyway, Hannah, who is our narrator and our protagonist, can speak to the cats, or rather, the cats can speak to her. She can understand cats when the cats talk. And they have a friend who is a psychic sort, who has given Ben an amulet, Ben being the boyfriend, which means he can also talk to the cats. One of the cats belongs to him. It's a Maine Coon. It's not the one called Razzie. The one called Razzie belongs to Hannah, and there's a kitten that I think belongs to both of them. At the start of this book, there is a family picnic for the police department in a public park. Hannah notices some birds are behaving strangely by a tree, goes over to see what's up with them, and finds a dead policeman who has just transferred to their district. He's lying stabbed behind the tree. And she and the police then investigate his death. Now, I don't know how it works in America, but in the UK, journalists don't investigate deaths. They don't act as police officers. They do investigate lots of things, but they don't actually act as the police force. In this book, she does. But I could have put up with that, and I could have put up with the story. What I couldn't put up with was the cats, I'm afraid. I love cats. My daughters say I'm a crazy cat lady, although they both are too. Hannah calls Razzie my queen, and Razzie calls Hannah Mama, and one of the other cats call her Lady. Now, I know a lot of people like these cozy mysteries, but I don't think they're for me, really. At one point, well, at one point, I'm trying to make this not a spoiler. Cats are in the car, as obviously they would be. Um, Hannah's phone is also in the car. Hannah at this point is in danger, as is Ben. Thankfully, someone rings Hannah on her phone, and the cats answer the phone and meow down the phone, so the person at the other end of the phone knows that they're in trouble. Yeah, that was too much. It was just too much. I'm glad I didn't read the other 9. I'm also glad these were available on Kindle Unlimited, so I can say I haven't parted with any cash for them. Um, like I say, a lot of people might like them, but they're not for me. This, however, was for me. This is called A Girl Called Justice. It's by Elly Griffiths. Now, Elly Griffiths writes several different detective story series. My favourite is with Dr. Ruth Galloway, who is an archaeological anthropologist and who helps the police when they uncover bodies determine how old those bodies are, etc., etc. There are 15 books in this series. I've read all of them. I absolutely love them. She's written another series called The Brighton Mysteries. Again, I've read all of them and I love them. And there's a third series as well that I've also read all of. I haven't read her other books. She writes under the name Dominica de Rosa as well, and I don't know, they're not mystery books or detective books, but actually Dominica de Rosa is her real name. I read this for middle grade March, and I read it for the debut novel prompt because although this isn't Elly Griffith's debut novel, it is her debut children's novel, so I decided that counted. I don't know whether any of you have ever read Joe Nesbo, but Joe Nesbo also writes children's books in addition to his hard-hitting crime thrillers. And what you find with the children's books by both Joe Nesbo and Elly Griffiths is they put the same amount of plotting and character development into their children's novels as they do their adults' novels, which is just as it should be because kids aren't stupid and kids know these things. This is a really good kids' mystery, and it's about Justice Jones, who is the daughter of a lawyer. He is her mother has just died. She has to go off to boarding school. There are mysterious events, including dead bodies, at this boarding school, um, and she is going to solve the crimes. Her mother was an author and wrote crime fiction, and so she decides she is up to the task. And it's set in the 1930s. And I loved it. It was brilliant. If you want, after after reading that very strange cat book, which had limited character development, and I'll say that again, character development, and some quite odd plotting, reading this was an absolute joy. So that's the middle grade March. Now, save the best till last. I am doing, like many other people, a round the world challenge. My round the world challenge is overly complicated in that I want to read classics, modern literature, children's books, poetry, plays, non-fiction, both history and other, from as many countries in the world that I can. This is obviously a lifelong project. I will not have finished it by the end of my life. I asked Jim at Jim's Books, Reading and Stuff to recommend a book for me from Georgia, and he came up with this. This is The Eighth Life by Nino Haratischvili. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Um, it's a bit of a chunker. It runs to 930 pages. I'll read you the back first. At the start of the 20th century, on the edge of the Russian Empire, a family prospers thanks to a recipe for hot chocolate that bewitches its drinkers. But this chocolate carries a bitter, some say cursed, aftertaste. Tumbling through the years across vast expanses of longing and loss, witness generation after generation of this remarkable family as they struggle and thrive, divide and reunite, and live and die in the Red Country. It was translated by Charlotte Collins and won the English Pen Award for the translation. It was also longlisted for the International Book Prize. I was absolutely blown away by this book. It is brilliant. Um, our narrator is a female member of this family, and she is writing all this down to tell her niece their family history. And it starts in the 1890s with the great 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 grandparents. The great 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 grandfather is a chocolatier, and he goes to Vienna to study, and he comes back with a recipe for the most sublime drinking chocolate, which he keeps very secret. And he passes that recipe down to his daughter. The history of the family is tied in with the history of Russia and the Caucasus through the end of the 19th century and all of the 20th century, through all the wars and revolutions and terrors that happened. But it's really character driven as well as being plot driven. And the story is told through the lives of predominantly the women in that family. And it does go into, it has male characters that are there for a prolonged period of time and you learn a lot about them, but it's mainly the women in the family and what each of them goes through and the chances they take and the things they have to endure. And it is beautiful and it is heart wrenching and it is heartwarming and it's just brilliant. So, Jim, I know that you've started reading this week. Thank you so much for this recommendation, and I really hope you enjoy it as much as I did. That is it for this week. Thank you very much for watching. I am going to throw myself now into the rest of my reading for the BookTube Non-Fiction Prize and the 10 reading events that I've decided I'm going to join this month, and my personal challenges. So it's going to be a really busy month. I hope you stay with me. Um, there's going to be a very eclectic collection of books over the next few weeks. So You may be interested in some and not others. Um, Thank you for popping by. I'm always really grateful. Please leave comments below. I do like to chat, so if you have anything to say, if you've read any of these books, loved them or hated them, or just what are you reading? I hope you're having fun. Enjoy the rest of the weekend, short though it will be, and please like and subscribe. That would be most appreciated. Really struggling with my words today. Anyway, that's it. I'm going. I did, by the way, I'm not going yet. Just one thing. I did promise you a video on Friday because it was the Bookshack's birthday. Now, I filmed the video, but I'm having a few technical difficulties with it. I'm hoping you may see it next week. Pop by again soon and see. That's all. Thank you very much for watching. Bye for now.